Greetings, friends. My name is Pavor Stermach, and now we'll unveil the top news of recent days. The UK government is providing Ukraine with the largest aid package in the country's history, amounting to £500 million. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak announced this. The additional funding announced will go towards the rapid delivery of urgently needed ammunition, air defense systems, drones, and engineering equipment to Ukraine, the British government said in a statement.
Storm Shadows and other missiles, hundreds of armored vehicles and watercraft, ammunition, all of this is needed on the battlefield. I am grateful to the UK and personally to Prime Minister Sunak for such a strong demonstration of support and for the willingness to further develop our defense cooperation, especially with the emphasis on maritime and long-range capabilities. Volodymyr Zelensky, President of Ukraine, on social network X.
The Guardian notes that together with new aid package, the total amount of funds allocated by the UK for Ukraine in 2024 will reach almost £3 billion. The military aid package prepared by UK Ministry of Defence will include more than 1,600 strike and anti-aircraft missiles, including a new batch of Storm Shadow cruise missiles, which flight range is about 250 kilometers. London also plans to transfer to Kyiv 60 boats, 160 Husky armored cars, 162 other armored vehicles, 78 all-terrain vehicles, and about 4 million rounds of ammunition. Sunak said that defending Ukraine against Russia's brutal ambitions is vital for our security and for all of Europe. If Putin is allowed to succeed in this war of aggression, he will not stop even at the Polish border. Ukraine's armed forces continue to fight bravely, but they need our support, and they need it now. Today's package will help ensure Ukraine has what they need to take the fight to Russia. The United Kingdom will always play its part at the forefront of European security, defending our national interest and standing by NATO allies. Today we await the decision of the US Senate, which will allocate $61 billion in aid to Ukraine. It looks like that someone in the Kremlin is not very happy about that. United States Secretary of State Antony Blinken will travel to China to discuss support for the Russian Federation, CNN reports. This is Blinken's second trip to the country as America's top diplomat. U.S. Secretary of State Blinken is scheduled to meet with senior Chinese officials in Shanghai and Beijing during his April 24-26 visit. Blinken has three main goals during his trip to China: making progress on key issues, clearly and directly express concerns on bilateral, regional and global issues, responsible management of competition. Blinken plans to reiterate deep U.S. concerns about China's support for Russia's defense industrial base, as well as human rights abuses. The Secretary of State also plans to discuss the situation in the Middle East. The U.S. has repeatedly called on China, both publicly and privately, to pressure Iran to show restraint. The Secretary of State will discuss issues in the Indo-Pacific region, including China's provocations in the South China Sea, as well as North Korea's threatening rhetoric and reckless actions. Blinken will also reaffirm the importance of peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait, the anonymous official told CNN. Let me remind you that the Pentagon found out last October that China is massively supplying Russia with drones and small arms. Beijing denied it. In early April, the United States announced that Russia, thanks to the support of China, had almost restored its armed forces. The United States and its allies are becoming increasingly intolerant over China's refusal to stop supplying Russia with technologies that help rebuild its industrial base, from chips to cruise missile engines. Other G7 members have told Washington they either plan to raise the issue with China or have already done so. Following a meeting of G7 foreign ministers last week, Blinken said China was a major contributor to supporting Russia's defense industrial base. And while China has not crossed the red line yet and is not directly supplying Russia with weapons or ammunition, Blinken plans to warn that Washington and its allies are united in their opposition to Beijing's role in helping Russia. Looks like someone in the Kremlin will not be very happy about that. Patriarch of Moscow and possibly an FSB agent Kirill believes that the Russian Orthodox Church has chosen a different path of development, which is why sanctions were imposed on it. The Patriarch is sincerely surprised that sanctions were imposed against him because he supposedly did not break any laws and did not offend anyone. He collaborated, interacted with governments, with public organizations, everything was fine, and the sanctions were introduced because the patriarch leads the people. He leads spiritually, he leads the church, which follows a different civilizational path of development. And he apparently forgot that Kirill and his minions bless Russian soldiers for the war of conquest, that Russian associates concentrated missiles that killed dozens of innocent Ukrainians. What the blessed soldiers have already destroyed at least 246 Orthodox churches, and 187 of them were subordinated to Moscow. That is why public condemnation of the ideology of the Russian world and the positions of the Russian Orthodox Church and Patriarch Kirill of Moscow, as well as other Russian religious associations and leaders who participate in Russian aggression and justify it, promote hatred and genocide of the people of Ukraine, is a normal reaction. And that's why the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe recognized the Russian Orthodox Church as an instrument of Kremlin propaganda and influence. And Patriarch Kirill and his hierarchs of the Russian Orthodox Church are recognized as accomplices in Russia's crimes against Ukraine in the name of the Russian world. Let me remind you that earlier the Orthodox Church of Russia held a council and adopted an ideological document that ties together Kremlin ideological narratives to form a broader nationalist ideology around the war against Ukraine. That is why everything once again confirms that the Russian Church has nothing to do with religion. Looks like someone in Moscow is still not very happy. That concludes our today's video. Thank you for watching. Stay updated, comment, like and subscribe to our UATV English channel for more news from Ukraine. Your support is what really matters. Goodbye.